I needed all those experiences to get me to this point today, right? Like to see this. It was hard, it hurt, it was like a grind, but I am just so grateful that I did it. And this is the first time that I've made a pivot like this, knowing that I can do it all on my own. Like in the past, again, you guys are really getting like a real raw episode here. In the past, I would have hired a coach, right? Like somebody to help guide me through this transition. And I thought about it. And then I looked at myself in the mirror and I'm like, you can do this without a coach. Like, you know exactly what you're doing. You are so capable of this. You just have to realize it. And for my energy healers out there, I know that there's a lot of you that listen to this show. I got gifted a reading from my Aunt Cindy for my birthday. It was I think she's a wonderful practitioner locally here to me. I needed like an in-person energetic reading is what I would call it, but it's also like a massage at the same time. Really cool. I'll put her information, or DM me if you're interested and you're local and you want to check her out, because I'll send you guys her info. She's awesome. We had talked about so much during the reading, but one of the things was that she said to me was like, because my dad is obviously like so present in a lot of these spiritual readings that I go through, and she was like, your dad's telling me that like you're finally charging your worth and your business is, she goes, if it hasn't already taken off, it's about to take off, and like it's gonna get better and better and better. And he's so proud of you for like charging your worth. I like knew that, but then coming out of this wonderful like boost, right, of this shift that I did like fully on my own, and I saw the opportunity and I saw this within myself, and this was basically what I was doing already. Okay, so we'll like get into that in part 4. It was just so rewarding and so full circle to hear someone else say that to me, that like obviously like she's never met my dad, right? Like she doesn't know anything about us. And she intuitively like got that download from him. And that's exactly how I've been feeling. So to continue the story in part 4, I want to talk about how what you may already be doing in your business, whether it's service, product, like whatever it may be, really most of us, if we're expanding and you're here, right, to listen to a personal development podcast, it's most likely that you very rarely would stifle your own growth. You know, like I want to make that very clear. A lot of us grow, especially if we're focused on self-awareness, personal development, you know, expanding like who we are energetically, however you identify your journey. It's very rare that you would stifle your own personal growth. So it's most likely that currently in your business, you're already working towards and developing and doing what you desire to do, but you may not be charging for it yet, okay? So last episode we talked about pricing a little bit. This is going to be like part 2 of this pricing, and really down to like, do you have the skills, right? Like that's what I've heard so many times in mentorship. People will come to me and they're like, I don't know, right? Like I don't really know if I can do this. Hello, like the most asked question by entrepreneurs is, I don't really know if I can do this, right? Like this is our MO. This is a soundtrack to our lives. Like shout out Kid Cudi. I don't really fucking know if I can do this shit. And if you take a step back and you look at everything that you've already done in your life, in your career, look at how much you've already accomplished. You are 100% capable of doing whatever you've put your mind to. But what's holding you back is that conscious, right, worry, fear, like our actual human DNA programming, right, to keep ourselves safe, keep ourselves small. Like for me, I never thought that I had a problem with my pricing. until I started to get really like resentful towards it, right? Like I was explaining in the last episode around frustration around like time that I'm spending versus like what I'm getting paid. Like first red flag, right? It's like, okay, noted. Like I want to give you all some tangible ways to look at if you feel like your business isn't currently working for you. It's like working against you. Like at times I think our patterns, at least, excuse me, I should speak for myself here. A pattern with me, with my business, and like I've described it in the past is like a jail cell, right? Like I can feel like I'm fighting with it at times. When it's getting to that point and this pattern is reoccurring and I'm hearing the same things, right? Like that's also a light bulb moment where we have to take a step back and look at what isn't working, why isn't it working, and how can I make it work? Because whatever you desire to do is 100% possible, right? It's just about like I shared in the last episode, I talked about articulation and explaining. If you don't have the words yet, how can you make it an offer, right? Like you can't put the chicken before the egg before the chicken, right? It all kind of has to come together at a head as like a perfect storm, right? For this new opportunity to build. But if you're questioning this, look at what you're already doing. Like what you're already doing is probably, if you're at that point, right, of feeling like frustration, what you're doing is probably already exactly what you may want to offer or do or build or develop, but you may just not be like charging your full worth for it, right? Like as an example, like when I was working in my agency solely with clients, I was taking on so much of this like headache type work of things that aren't in my skill set that I don't love to do. And I was just doing it honestly to keep myself busy. And I developed all these other skills, right, along the way that helped me build my fractional CMO role so I don't regret any of it. But I was already doing all of that or most of that for many clients over the years. And I just wasn't charging for it, right? Like I just wasn't realizing how much of an impact I was making on these organizations. And I also wasn't working with organizations that saw and also felt, right, the ROI of like me surpassing. Actually, like at this point, we're surpassing expectations, which is what I've always wanted to do, but it wasn't able to happen with the current model of the system that I had previously. Like now that I'm able to have my agency run on its own and my team members are absolutely crushing it, they're so skilled and I totally trust them. The few that we have, like we cut back the team a lot, right? There's a lot of strategy to building out this type of business, right? That has like two different branches to it. But because I've been able to do it and I took that step back, like key piece, took that step back and looked at it all from a bird's eye view, it was like, okay, this can come together. Now my team reaches out to me if they need help, right? I'll comment back. I still talk with my clients on the agency side very frequently. I'm CC'd on all the emails, but we've found this perfect equilibrium is the best word for it that works for us right now. So if you don't know if you're capable of charging or changing your packages or changing your pricing, but you're feeling frustration, look at what you're already doing. Get curious about the cost and what it would make you feel good, right? To get paid for the time that you're putting in, and just be really honest with yourself. Like be so real. Let yourself go back to that dream state if you feel like consciously you can't get in it, right? Like in the physical experience that you may be having right now, because sometimes it's really hard to like snap ourselves back into the dream state, right? Like when we're dealing with like real life stuff, like money, right? Like it can be really hard. but give yourself that time and space. Look at the bird's eye view perspective and ask yourself, am I already doing what this offer could consist of? Offer, again, product, service, like could be applied to anything. And have I been totally doing all of this for all of these people without charging them for so many years now? Like that was exactly what happened to me. So your story may be different, right? When you apply it to your own life, it may look totally different. It may have a little bit of similarities to this story. It may have none, but because I've been in business so long, it was so easy, right, to get comfortable, to get stuck in the mundane of this is what we do, this is what we offer, right? And if you're here, you are into personal development, you're into expansion, you're into trying to build your dream life, like let's be honest, these are the questions that you can start to ask yourself. This is what's going to help you get to the next level. I wish I had done it sooner, honestly, but I didn't, and it obviously wasn't the right timing with everything that was happening in my life. It was like everything almost had to fully crumble, right, in order for me to see this. Another key piece. But I'm here and I'm doing it. And it's okay, because now every day I get up and I'm so energized, rejuvenated, like absolutely love what I do and how I work with people. And it's just so very much so a gift. So I also don't want to come across in that sense of like, my life is perfect, right? Like going back to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I would love to know if you guys watch this show and if you resonate with Amanda Francis. I think that's her name, but she is like the millionaire mindset coach. I actually had never heard of her, ironically, until she was on the show. And I think she can come across as like, my life is perfect, right? And like maybe that's what works for her. So like not knocking her at all. But I personally think it's really important to share these levels of lows that come up with being in business. And that's why I always try to be so raw and real with you guys, because I don't think that we can get to keeping the end in mind until we go through these slumps. It's like what pulls me out of the slump is keeping the end in mind, right? Like, and I also hope and pray that more people can be vulnerable in their growth experience, personal development wise, whether that's through, corporate career, business careers, because I never, ever want you all to feel like when you hear other people say like, I love my life, right? And like, this is like, it can just come off in a way that like nothing bad ever happens to them. And I don't know that that's a beneficial way for society to expand and grow. Like we all go through shit, and I just want to be a pillar of hope that like despite how low things can get, you can always rise above and keep the damn end in mind, because that's what has gotten me out of so many dark holes that you guys know basically everything about if you've been listening to this show. So anyhow, I am done with my long ramble. So you will get a new episode every week that kind of follows into this line of topics, and one flows very well into the next. So if you haven't checked out the earlier parts or the later parts, just know that that may be in your best interest. And I, as always, would love to hear how you all are doing. Any feedback, like give me a screenshot, shout us out on social media, tag me, like tell me what it's like in your neck of the woods. Would love to hear from you guys as always. So thank you so much for tuning in.